I try
Oh, you want
talking
to
them
keep
out of
that?
it.
You want to keep that Boy George look going that I love so much, especially with that purple eyeliner.
That was one night only, sir. One night only.
Oh,
If you
just for
weren't there,
me, just for me. I love it. I
yeah.
love it.
If you weren't there
What
last
up,
night,
Chaz?
oh god, we're at 9.9K on the likes, lots of shares. Holy smokes! Boom, there it is. We have hit the magic number. You guys are awesome. I love the naughties, Dread. They're just awesome for us. All right, everybody, welcome tonight's Naughty Business. We got Christa, host of Trap Talk, live on YouTube every Sunday night, 9 o'clock Central.
Yep.
That's on the famous, what's it? It's a little small. Is it like YouTubies or it's very little. No one's heard of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's on the big show. She's on the big show. I love Trap Talk. I've been watching them for God a year, like just addictively. So I'm so proud of you. That's so awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been really fun. That's how I started, by listening to Trap Talk, and I was like, man, I'd like to get to know these guys someday. And oh, look at the fireworks. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I want to explore that. We don't have to jump right into the animals, although animals on screen definitely drives a lot of people our way. But
Okay.
we shall get there. We shall get there. I'm kind of interested in, like, what's it like for you? I mean, I think you started your show with that and us here about the same time. We're rolling on what, week 14, Dread, something like that? With
15,
like
16, yeah. It's
That's where I'm at. I think I'm on 15 this week. So yeah.
yeah, it's
Right
pretty
there.
close.
We think we started at the same time. So what's it like doing such an organized thing and with all like sponsorship and the other external pressures and just the expectations? How's it been, or what did you think going into it versus reality now?
It's a good question. I still get nervous for every episode. As far as the pressure of it, I feel like there's a lot, it's more internal pressure for me. Like I want to do it well and I want people to get something out of it and to learn something from it. That's what drives me. That's why I have so many guests from different backgrounds week to week. I don't want like the same species, even though I love ball pythons and leopard geckos. I still want varied species because that's how we learn, right? I find it interesting too. So it's more of an internal pressure to do well every week. And MJ does a really good job of just kind of setting things up for me where it's really just easy. I kind of just find the guest to run it, but he's got everything lined up on StreamYard for me. So that makes it seamless, really. So
Well, he runs a good program. We know that. So we definitely support Trap Talk and all of the crew over there.
11.6 thousand subscribers on YouTube. So that's huge. For sure.
Wow,
for
that
sure.
is good.
yep, that's his passion, and he does a phenomenal job with it. And we've become good friends. And yeah, we chit chat on the phone every week, see how things are going, see how we can improve. I think we'll start kind of. You actually see me on the Friday show. I got brought on with Dave Levinson, who does the show. So we're kind of like coming on each other's shows. Like I'll have Emilio probably on. I need to ask him, just kind of reach around the other shows on Trap Talk and get each other on. So I think that's fun too.
Yeah. I'm excited. We've got a couple of those in our back pocket too rolling out here. So I'm pretty excited about all that. You're the first one. So, ladies first, girl power.
Yep.
From a techie standpoint, I'm struggling with learning OBS and integrating the various, plugins and softwares to use from phone to go to camera and actual computer. Has there been any technical issues that you think could be useful to someone trying to like jump from off their cell phone to something bigger and better?
I just run off my Mac computer, really. It's already got like a pretty good camera in it. And the biggest thing was the mic part of it, which MJ kind of told me his recommendation on a mic. So I just went with that, got the little hookup where I can hook up the mic to my Mac, and I kind of just do it that way. And then tweak around with the lighting. So I have the lights off with the ring light above me, just little things. I'd like to get like a background eventually with like my logo on it. So that's something I'd like to do, but not super techie though, I would say. In the future, maybe get my own camera for it, but the Mac does a pretty good job with it right now. So.
Right. That's the Macs are really great for anything artsy, whether it's video editing or music. They really are. Their desktop or laptops are just they are superior. I think the PC for that as computing power goes. You can always upgrade to PC components, but so I'm not that techy. In fact, the best tool I use when like technological things don't work is a hammer. So I get really angry, and I'm just like, if I can't take it out of the box and plug it in and it doesn't work, I'm just like, fuck it. I'm done. I can't handle it.
Yeah. So, I'm like that with like construction things. I'd rather just freaking buy it. I'll pay somebody to put things together. I can do a screw and some light things, but yeah.
We all have our things, whether it's something like that or tech or anything. We all got some people are like, oh, I can't do poop or I can't do blood. Everyone's got their thing. They're like, that's why I'm not a nurse. That's why I'm a teacher, because I can't do the gross stuff or whatever it may be.
Yep.
So do you run tech in the background sometimes? I know when there's been technical issues on the show, I hear you chime in from like it's the voice of God from above. You're like, I got you. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And so is there some other tech background stuff you do when it's not your Sunday night?
Sometimes if something comes up with MJ, like he's busy or something, he'll just like tell me to go backstage and kind of help run things. So yeah, sometimes we'll do that on different shows. I just log into the StreamYard and I can control everything since it came pretty easy to me. So I'll do that. I'll record or hit stop or run the banners and everything like that. Yeah, that glossy interface is cool, and that's something I can make videos, but it's not the same as running up like banners and ads and popping animation and dropping in videos and then dropping back out to the live. That's stuff that kind of beguiles me, so that's interesting. It just takes some practice, I think, just some time to get used to it. And, yeah.
What do you think? Where do you think's next for you with what's going to happen next? Where's the growth, or what do you see, or what do you hope to see if you don't see it quite yet? What are you wanting to get out of it?
I would like to grow just the overall views too. I'm kind of hitting that, I don't know, about 200 to 300 view average right after the video. I would like to get that up to, I don't know, 500 to 800. I had Channing on from Reptico, and that one hit pretty close. I would say, 800 within, 24 hours. So that is something I just get a broader reach.
Yeah, I saw that one. I saw part of that one, and I messaged her beforehand. I think I was trying to respond to your story, and I accidentally responded to hers, and I was like, oh, hey, sorry, I was trying to tell Christa to have a great show, but you're awesome, too. I didn't realize she was so young. I mean, Rice makes some killer stuff. I mean, there's some people, between Ozzy and Bob, and Billy, Mutation Creations, and I think the Rice family, they're up there in that same breath of air of, like, $20,000 animals that are cutting edge. Canova, of course. Right. But that's so cool. She's part of that legacy of that family. And I didn't realize she was so damn young. Like, she's a high schooler. Yeah,
like 14, I think. So extremely young, but a great work ethic, head on her shoulders, knows what she wants to do. So it ended up, and, they're pretty well known in the industries that, dragged a lot of people to come and watching. So, but it went pretty well overall. Excited to see what she does in the future. So.
I forget the dad's name, but I remember on one of Dave Levinson's lives, I think before Bob Vu's show in Atlanta, he was like, he's always grouchy and pissed off. Don't mind him.
Billy. I think it's Billy.
Actually, fun Phil fact, I bought my first ball python for my daughter from Dave Levinson, and I had no idea who he was from Adam. Or more like Jesus, I should say, with that beard. I had no idea who he was. He was at some local little rinky-dink show here in my area, and I bought the first ball python I owned from him, so kind of weird.
That's awesome. He's a really nice guy. I like him quite a bit. Very smart, like just the questions he asks, curious mind. It's a very interesting guy. I like him.
He's super funny though. I love he'll just make fun of himself. Like Dave Levinson's cool people, dude. So tell us about your work. We'll get to the animals. I know everyone wants to see animals. And tell me about what you do. You're a vet, graduated as a vet. Yep. You're doing research science at Mizzou. So tell us about maybe some of the day-to-day, or then like where's the projects you're working in, where are they going, or how are they contributing to the health of society?
Yeah. So vets, I think, have a unique leg when it comes to research. Not a lot of vets go into research. Unfortunately, a lot of them just, want to do dogs and cats. But we're kind of interestingly enough, we have the vet background, and a lot of the health and problems that happen in animals, they happen in people too. So we can kind of use what I know from the animal side, apply that to the human side to come up with new treatments for humans and animals as well. So we're kind of like the bridge in that sense, because a lot of your scientists they focus really on their research, but it's such like a very small, finite part of the big picture. So as the vet, I have the clinical background. I can kind of apply that to the science and a little detail and kind of broaden the scientists' views on how they should look at things.
Yeah.
Well, and even on that same note, right? You being a vet and, treatments, but get into the medication side of it, right? I grew up in East Texas, and I was around a lot of vets, in the cattle and horses, livestock. They're issuing something for something sick, and I'm like, what's that? And they're like, that's the same as your doctor's giving you when you go get a checkup, certain antibiotics, right?
Yeah.
Dosings are different, but a lot of that's the same, or that crossover like you're saying. So thank you for clearing that up.
Yep. No, a lot of it's the same. I do some vet consults on the side, like in the evenings, just to, for fun, make some extra cash. And I call in prescriptions sometimes, and they're the same, like amoxicillin. I'll have that person go pick it up at Walmart or something.
Yeah, like metronidazole, Flagyl. Yeah. That's the same for Montezuma's Revenge when you drink bad water.
Yep, same as that. And I work specifically in cancer, actually, and there's a lot of the similar treatments in humans we give animals, and
wow,
animals are that kind of unique I'll say study kind of population, because they, like dogs, I'm doing dog cancer, they naturally develop it. It's very similar to humans, and the pathology of it, treatment, genetics, the actual genes that are involved with the cancer are the same between the two species, so you can learn a lot from them. So
right,
that's awesome. Do you ever talk to RAL, the laboratory? Like that was so neat to hear that they were the first to cross over from animal specimen testing to human, and they kind of had laid the groundwork for all that rapid COVID testing.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I've heard of them, but I don't know them specifically. I've just heard of what they do, but that's really cool how they did for COVID too.
Yeah, he was a guest on the Conjo Lounge with Chuck and Lucas. And it seemed like on the surface it might be a dry interview, and it actually really wasn't. It was actually really good and pretty interesting. And so it's always great when stuff that we love, animals and hobbies, whether it's certain venoms and breast cancer, there's all these theoreticals of what we can do with these things from nature that haven't been fully studied. So if anybody can do that and kind of bridge that gap to help humans and provide a value for that animal, or even more so, its ecosystem, so they're not deforesting.
Right.
Because this one little brown frog nobody wants to keep as a pet is the cure for Alzheimer's, and we didn't know it because we cut it down for a farm.
Yeah.
But when you know that, then you're like, oh shit, let's save that rainforest. Let's keep that little tan frog nobody wants because, it's got magical powers we didn't know until we spent 20 years in the lab. So anytime somebody can be doing something like that, I think it's very noble. So that's awesome you do that kind of work.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. I wanted to do something that had a big impact. I didn't want to just, not saying that spaying or neutering doesn't have an impact, but I wanted something a little more to help humans and people too on that kind of stage. And that's what kind of, and I love the science part, the questions of it, the figuring out the problem, the experiments. Like I really like that part of it. So that's what dragged me kind of to it. So, and here I am still in school many years later. So, yep.
Where's the end of school? When's it end?
I should be done, I'm thinking spring of 2026 if everything goes well with the experiments. So I'm starting to near the end. I think it will hit me more next year, 2025, knowing that I'm done, and then I'll have my DVM, have my PhD, and then hopefully get a job somewhere like pharmaceuticals. I think would be interesting. I can do academia, but I like the pharmaceutical, like drug discovery piece of it, or like a human hospital, like who is it? And St. Jude's, like Children's Hospital, like that would be kind of a dream job, sort of working in that research part and dealing with actual human samples and patients. Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool. You like to be in the nitty gritty of the things versus in the classroom setting. Yeah, I get that. That'd be more fun.
Yeah, just more applicable, I think. So
Yeah,
that'd be
yeah.
cool. We'll see where the jobs are at. So
Right on.
that's the hard part of it too. They're kind of niche, you know. They're not in every. They're kind of in bigger cities. So
Do you think doing the kind of public broadcast, because a lot of people in like what you're learning aren't really always necessarily the most outgoing, correct? I mean, you're doing this podcast in front of all these people week in and week out. Your interpersonal communication skills are, probably a lot higher than your peers. Not that anyone's, I'm not even going to hazard a guess who's smarter, who's not. But as far as your interpersonal and your presentation, dealing with that, don't you think maybe having that in your resume or at least that in an interview might help open some doors when it comes time to get that job and be done with school?
yeah, that's a good outlook at it. I haven't actually really thought about that, but I could see it helping. It's definitely built my confidence in talking to people. Something I've always struggled with is confidence. I'm more of a quiet, kind of introverted, just kind of want to watch and listen and learn. But I think especially in this industry and networking and putting yourself out there is very much needed. So this is what kind of the podcasting had me do, was put myself out there more. And yeah, I'm gaining the interpersonal skills, I think, and should be able to apply them later down the road.
Yeah, I definitely think that'd be great in an interview, saying, well, look, I've been doing this, interviewing people from all these walks of creatures, and,
Yep.
I just think it'd be useful. At least I hope so. It gets you in the next job before someone else, a leg up for you.
Yeah, hope so. Yeah, for sure.
Well, cool. Well, what kind of animals you got that are handy you might be able to show us tonight and talk about some of your
Sure.
favorite projects,
Sure.
what's available. So you vend some shows. You could talk about your vending. Tell us about some of your vending experience, and then
Show some stuff. Yeah, so I vend mainly the local show me shows near me. There's St. Louis, Kansas City, Columbia, which is where I'm at, has a show probably at least once a month. And then I am signed up to do the St. Louis NARBC in a few weeks, so that will be a big show for me. And then I'll be vending the All American Plant and Reptile Expo in December, and that's in Kansas City.
yeah, that's cool. Those are getting pretty great reviews, I feel like, from Denver over to Charlotte, and I've been hearing some really good stuff about those.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see how it goes, and I'll have some baby. How do I switch like the camera?
It should be the same thing as you just did. It should give you that option
Yep, and there should be
I
a
see
little
it.
circle.
to flip your camera.
Yep. I see it. So this is a cool baby I produced this year.
And if
I
any
think
of
you
our
got flip it and
moderators are
And
down
then hit
here,
save.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool.
any
So
of
this
our
is-
moderators can help us, like maybe ask the people in the comments for any questions they might have, or whatever they might be able to do, just so that since she's not reading the screen, to see any good questions we could relay for Christa as we go along. You produced that, huh?
Yeah, this is a banana leopard red striped clown, I believe. The color just doesn't really do her justice, but she's got a really orange head and just a really cool, like, kind of fluorescent orange stripe down the back with some, see, the leopard kind of reduces the pattern, but there's still some of that, alien head reduction here.
I absolutely love that. And looking at your
Yeah.
collection, I can tell you have an affinity for the yellows and oranges. No?
I do,
That is
yeah.
very-
I love the Ultramel. Trying to see what else. This is kind of I did like a super banana pairing. So I got this, which I think is just a super banana leopard het clown, I think. But kind of like
Oh, yeah.
kind of like a hypo-ish look. This is a cool one here. This is basically the same as that first one I showed you, except for it's a super banana form. So a super banana leopard red striped clown.
Carly Lynn's coming through.
Okay, Carly. Yeah, it's like a hypo look, and the light doesn't really do it too much justice, but it's kind of like a pink, almost like a pinkish color, sort of on the top here. This is like a pink.
So if animals are available from you, what's the best way people can get in touch with you? Instagram or attend your vending shows, Morph Market? Where's your outlet?
Yeah, kind of all of the above, really. I post some on Instagram. I have a morph market, and then yeah, I vend at shows too. So kind of all the above. If there's
So
something that you're looking for, just reach
what
out.
what do you have that you're taking to the NARBC?
So we'll take her, for sure. Take him too. If he'll not get me. Yeah, I hashed out pretty decent looking leopard, red stripe. Some of these people have told me like at local shows that they think they have. So yeah, leopard, red stripe clowns. I'll have some of these.
That's nice. Very
Very
clean.
nice. I don't have
Very
red
clean.
stripe over here yet, so that's nice.
Chocolate,
Yeah.
thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Thanks for rolling through.
Let me see. I have a really nice. Let me see if I can find her. Pretty nice red stripe clown girl.
The first banana clown you showed me so far is my own personal favorite. The oranges and just in the reduced stripe. It's to me, it's great.
Absolutely.
Can't find her out here. This is
Oh, Carly's asking what are the greens.
Yeah. She's
Hey.
she's bringing the heat questions right now.
Oh,
one's
Carly,
coming,
just-
Carly. One's coming. This is just a banana
Oh, the
clown.
secret's out. Oh, the world knows, Christa.
Yeah, they do now. I am getting a green tree python in the spring. Blame Phil.
Yep. I talked her into it.
Oh, I'm blaming him too because I'm saving my cookies to get me one. So
Yep, that's just a banana clown girl, but just a really good example. Like, I think that's so important when you're picking animals to like pick good examples of them, so that
Yes.
this I'll get him, but he's kind of a mean one.
I totally agree with that because sometimes you could look on Morph Market and there'd be 5 animals with the same genes listed, but 1 or 2 of them just go, wow, that's so much. That's like halfway visually to where I want to go once I have, make babies with that thing. And so one stands out, and it might be $50 more, $50 less, or 100, whatever.
Right.
But it's like, here's the same gene cocktail. This one looks like a damn normal, but this one just pops. And I always go with, I'm sure there's some, genealogical line to the background of it that I don't know. But I just use my eyes. And then I use my wallet. Sometimes not. Sometimes in the other order, just depends. But
I try to buy my eyes. This guy is Ultramel. What is he? Ultramel blackhead leopard, double het, clown pied. So I bought him, but he's going to be a really good. He's in shed too, so he's not near as pretty as what he usually. But he's still just a
that's
really
still an awesome
gorgeous
looking
animal.
snake.
oh,
Yeah, he is.
oh, Dread. Here you go, Dread.
What?
What? Well, hey, Carly, he tells me who's always got the heat going on in the GTP. So when I'm ready, I'll reach out or have him reach out for me. Definitely. We'll get me the right one.
She's letting go 2 of her holdbacks from this year.
Oh dang! And I got this. This is one of my favorites, a Hurricane Ultramel. I posted them on my Instagram just an hour or 2 ago. But just an absolutely stunning example of that gene. Hurricane.
Yeah, it is. I love that.
Yeah, he's a little bit darker in the light too, but I love
What
the
else? He's
Ultramel
Ultramel
stuff.
what?
Hurricane.
Hurricane?
Yeah.
Man, I need to get that female, and that would go good with that female for my buddy I'm getting.
Hey, Carly, let me just give you Dread's address. You could just send them the invoice, okay? She's already got you sold, Dread. Don't look at the comments. She's already got you sold.
I see it.
This is another one of my favorites, Hurricane Clown Boy, but just a really bought this one too. Really pretty example. I love like the rusty reds that come through. How dark that is.
Yes. Your animals, these are all productions of yours?
This one I bought. Some of the Hurricane or the Ultramels I bought. This one I bought. A lot of them I bought. I've been in it for a year, so I've had 4 clutches this year. 2 or 3 that have hatched out. So yeah, another one I just put in the incubator too. Here she is. I was looking for her.
Right.
She's
Carly's
already
on-
turning. She's already turning. I already got her. She just blamed me a minute ago before you got in.
I'm not
Well,
making
you are
the
an
full-
influence, so good or bad, we love it.
After that episode with her is when I decided to do the green tree, so I will blame her for that. But I will not make the dirty switch because I still love these guys here. This is when I made a red stripe clown, just a red stripe clown girl, but a really good, nice expression of that.
Very good example. No, for sure.
Yeah.
Very
So,
clean.
simple combo, but again,
All right, he did very clean.
trying to think. This one is really pretty too. This one I made. This is a banana. I believe it's a banana leopard and she red stripe het clown.
And she red stripe het clown. Man, that's awesome.
You can see the kind of that stripe coming down the head, and then she's got a lot of like the orange diamonds on the back too.
That snake gives my scarecrow a run for its money.
Yeah.
But I don't have red stripes, so you win. You win.
You
Big
need some
scruff,
red stripe.
Marines 911, thank you.
If you have banana, you need red stripe.
Yeah, I need to get red stripe. I got that banana leopard spot nose het for clown. I was trying to make that banana
Really?
that Batman scarecrow. So I got to get red stripe.
This is a pretty newish baby.
Thanks, Scruff.
Like I hatched a dreamsicle.
What's up, buddy?
Oh, I love that.
So mostly white, but what was the pairing? It could have black head in it. It could be super OD. This orange it's pretty orange. I might test
It's pretty
it for
vibrant.
OD. Yeah, I might test it for OD to see if it comes back as a super.
Really nice head pattern too on him.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love that little guy.
Yeah. Pretty. So yeah, dreamsicle stuff. And then the last clutch in the incubator is clown pies. One project I'm pretty excited for is paint, actually. So I'll show you Paint Girl because she's like my favorite, but this is a recent, it's a yellow belly, I think he's in shed too, actually, a double het ultramel paint. So I'm kind of going the ultramel route with the paint stuff. So that's a male there, and I have a double het ultramel paint female. But let me show the Paint Girl that I have.
What does paint? I understand paint doesn't always play out with every single gene. There's some where it's like you can't even tell it's in there.
Well,
Which one are
Carly,
you working with that you like?
I like putting in ultramel, and then there's some codoms like I really like the Blitz or like the Hurricane paints too. Cypress I've liked, Red Stripe I've liked. I was on a paint podcast just the other day, and that'll be published on Friday with Rec Room Snake, so definitely listen to that one. We kind of go over paint in detail and show different codoms. This is just a regular Paint Girl, but a really, really nice example because you have all this popcorning on the side of her. So just a really, really nice example of paint. There's still a lot to do with this gene. Calico is another one that looks really phenomenal. Yellow Belly looks phenomenal in paint, for me anyways. So yeah.
There's no granite in that animal.
No, just paint.
Huh?
we need to get some of that Mills Milky and run through that paint right there.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I saw that milky stuff.
Oh, I'm in love with that milky stuff.
Trying to think of any other ones that I like. I have some leopard geckos too, so I'll show you guys that. Those guys. I'm trying to think of any other ball pythons I like. But those are like my favorite. I also like Sunset. She's I think she's in like deep shed. But this is a yellow belly Sunset. She wants to hide. But you can see a lot of oranges popping in there. She's going into shed, so she's a little bit.
Yeah, the yellow belly improved Sunset. I know you love Sunset. I'm not the biggest fan, but I keep waiting for something to really make my jaw drop. I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah.
But yellow belly is taking that up a notch. I do like that more. I know she's shedding, but I've seen your other photos on Instagram. They're pretty killer.
And I'm going the hypo puzzle route with Sunset. And then I'm doing Ultramel Sunset too, because if you haven't looked up at Ultramel Sunset, it's absolutely phenomenal. let me show some leopard geckos now. But yeah, those are my two favorite projects really for sunset to me. I'm trying to think of any ones over here. I'm trying to think of any other girls I have that I want to show. This one. This one is actually one of my favorites.
You seen anybody make those into pie, the sunset with pied yet?
Yes, I actually saw some at Tinley. If you go to Captive Bread Specialties, they made some, and it looks nice. It kept the sunset pattern. So it's something I may do very long term, like sunset ultramel pied, because I like ultramel pieds a lot too. This girl here is a super vanilla hypo. So just super vanilla and hypo, but just like a really, really pretty animal to me. So yeah, I like her. I like her quite a bit. Up.
The four clutches in your first year. What size did you buy your initial? And how many animals did you initially start out with to say I'm gonna start breeding these? And what size were they? That seems like a lot in year one.
Yeah, I got pretty lucky. I mean, I bought like 5 proven or breeder ready girls, and I got 4 of them to go. And I had a male. And then I bought 2 males. So yeah, so I just got lucky by buying ones that were adults, and they went for me, and yeah.
Yeah. Did you just show a pied? Was someone Carly's asking, where's the white?
I don't think I've shown any pied. Oh no, I showed a dreamsicle that was mostly white though.
Right.
Trying to think of any other ones I like from my somewhat adults. Where's she at? This girl.
Oh, Dread. Dread was showing off. Were you showing off a snake, Dread?
Oh yeah, I had an ultramel sunset up. If that was the snake.
Oh, come on. I didn't see.
It's very, very bright.
This girl is a redhead hypo. Oh, I gotta hit save. This girl is a redhead hypo here. I thought a pretty good example. She's already at 1,500 grams. So really excited to put this in some projects too and see what it does. I love the redhead and clown, what it does to the pattern, but I'm kind of wanting to play around with it and some other stuff. See how that goes.
You definitely got yourself lined up for some great, genetics here. You got yourself lined up for, some great outcomes. What are you holding back from some of the productions you've showed us so far? Are you like keeping 1 or 2 out of a clutch, or it just depends? Or what do you got eyeballed for now to hold back?
It kind of just depends. I think I'm going to hold back that very first girl I showed, that leopard, banana red stripe clown girl. My boyfriend really loves his Wookiee clown, and so his favorite project or favorite snake he's ever seen is the banana kraken. So he is a Wookiee red stripe girl. Then today,
is that it?
That's the ultramel sunset. Yeah,
that's the ultramel sunset.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
That's
very bright, very orange, very bright.
Yep, that one's not. So yeah, so we'll do that. The banana kraken with her, and then I'm hoping to maybe keep in my clutch in the incubator now. It's a clown pie clutch, so if I could get a visual clown pie girl, I'd probably hold that back too. But most of them I am selling just because I've kind of changed my thoughts on what projects I wanted to do. So yeah, we'll see how this coming season goes. I'll show you some leopard geckos now because that's kind of my other passion. This one I think will knock your socks off. This one, let's see if I can show
Mark Exotic loves banana. I got a banana. I got a couple of them. They're nothing. They don't have powerhouse genes, but they are beautiful animals.
This girl here.
Very cool. Oh, wow, they're beautiful. Wow.
This girl I recently got. I mainly do the tangerines. I'll show some of those in a second.
Yeah, tangerine.
But this is a tangerine, and it's Tremper albino. So the Tremper is what's causing that white on it. So I'm going to start doing some Tremper albino stuff.
That's the ones I like right there. I like the way those look.
Yeah. Yep. So I need to get probably a male for her. Haven't decided which route I'm going with that, but
Have you ever had a project you had bought into and got animals and then switched your mind and said, "Nah, I'm just gonna move these animals on and switch gears"?
Yep. Yeah, I would say if I can do this, but I would say the dreamsicle stuff. Just recently, I jumped in like seeing all these like triples and quad hits, and I was like, yeah, every project needs to be that. And then I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, people don't realize the odds that you have to hit some of these things, the amount of animals you have to hit these things. I mean, of
1 in
course,
256.
yeah. I mean, Justin makes it look like easy, and it is because he's got a ton of animals, and nobody else is like has that or at that level really. So and I don't want a lot. I want to keep it sort of small-ish, like eventually go up to, I don't know, 30, 40 clutches a year, very long term though.
Dang. Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot, but I want to do like really high focused on certain projects and really like hit those projects hard instead of doing a few clutches of this, a few clutches of that, a few clutches of that. So I had to kind of narrow it down on what projects I wanted to do and make everything kind of streamlined. So a lot of hypo, a lot of ultra mouth, hypo sunset is kind of what I want to put.
Right.
A little bit of paint, but yeah, with the ultra mouth.
Well, I guess once I hit my stride with the ball pythons, I guess I would be around 20 clutches with what I've got planned for space and resources because, I do the rainbow boas and I do green tree pythons. So I've got to kind of pick and choose my battles. So I guess around 20 clutches is my goal. So, I mean, it makes sense. You've got some killer stuff already happening. So the excitement just kind of builds. Does it make you want to get more animals or just wait for the next season and do it again with better holdbacks?
Kind of do with better holdbacks is what I'm kind of doing. Like, oh, this is a little baby I made too. This little tangerine girl. But yeah, do better with better holdbacks. So I really like the hypo stuff. So I bought like, you saw that redhead hypo girl. Flip it back around. Saw the redhead hypo girl. So like you can get a pretty good bang for your buck buying the hypo stuff. So I bought subadult girls that should be ready to go next year that I can run my sunset head hypo male, my puzzle head hypo male, create those hypo hets with the codoms in it. And then I have a couple like a spot nose yellow belly double het sunset hypo girl growing in the ranks, a puzzle head hypo girl. That way I have, when those animals, I can run them back to those girls and then create visuals with the codoms.
Right.
Because you only got, so much money, really, obviously.
Right.
So trying to figure out what's the best bang for your buck. I can get a few animals that are visual het, double visual here, and then get stuff with the codoms I can then run to them because they're already growing in my racks to get to that size. So I'm not starting from like scratch, if that makes sense. When you hit the codoms, there's an animal sitting in there I can run it back to. Like a good base of females, I think, is super important. Whatever you can get, double visual or double het, visual het, any sort of that kind of thing.
That's a solid plan.
Yeah. So
You put it on paper?
what was that?
You put it on paper? I mean, do you write it out? Do you do like, I kind of end up doing flow charts to see how things will look.
Yep, I have everything in Excel by project. So I have all my females, I have all my males, and I kind of sit there and pair. I see how many I might have, how many pairs the males go into, and then everything is right there. So I can kind of go back and forth between the projects and see what can like go to multiple projects, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So since you have a pretty good collection over there, and even the geckos, leopard geckos and whatnot, how are you doing your feeders? You raising feeders? You have someone, you source them out?
Yeah, for the mealworms, for the leopard geckos, I buy those. So I buy them from rainbowmealworms.com. I get all my feeders for those guys. But then the rodents, I breed those. So
Okay, very cool. Very cool.
yeah. So
ASF still allowed in Missouri?
they are not allowed in Missouri, unfortunately.
Huh.
This guy is super cool too.
It's kind of getting to be widespread, I feel like.
Yeah, and it's kind of unfortunate, really. But you do what you can. But this guy is a blackhead, spot nose, sapphire, Huffman, Mojave hypo male.
Boy, he's loaded.
Golly, that's a powerful male.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is.
But That's the Huffman is amazing. I
Yeah.
know Jen with Cigar City's way into Huffman in her collection.
Yep.
That is a powerhouse male right there for sure.
Yep. I love the Huffman. I want to do stuff with that just because you can make a super with it, unlike Black Pastel. The Sapphire, if you haven't looked up Sapphire, look up that. It's a really cool incomplete dominant that has a super too. So I really like what it does. Like, it almost looks like hieroglyphics
Yeah.
on the side. Yeah, this animal is, I love the golds here and then just the pattern blowing out on the side. So I'm excited to take him to those puzzle projects, sunset projects, kind of go from there.
Dang, I love puzzle.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. A lot of stuff to be done. That's why I kind of like getting into it. I wanted stuff that I liked, but also stuff that like I felt like what everybody else
Yeah, but
What's
you're
it
working
doing?
with stuff that makes sense to you from what you're seeing and doing your research.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is let me see where she's at. I picked up a really cool baby from my friend in Tinley. Really cool, look at this cute little thing.
Wow.
This is called a panda, but it's Super Snow, Black Knight, Eclipse. The eclipse is what kind of causes that white kind of pied looking thing. But yeah, super cool. Still learning about these. I wanted some Black Knight, so I don't know. I think he temp sexed this one as a put this one back. Whoop. Temp sexed it as male, but they're not like it's not always 100%. It's like 60 to 80%. So I'm kind of seeing what sex it is before I decide what I'm gonna do with that project.
Yeah. About what age do you find out the femoral pores?
They start showing around like 20, 30 grams. So
Okay.
depending on there's another baby, how fast they grow, you can kind of tell. But this is like another tangerine. So I'm kind of focusing on like that dark, kind of orangish. These lighter bands will fill in eventually. But kind of focusing on that kind of color. So yeah, pretty animal too. Can't think of any.
How many
Guys, what do y'all want to see? What kind of questions y'all got coming in?
Yeah.
Y'all come on, smash that screen, share this, support this live. These are some beautiful geckos.
Yeah, like look at that. She has like a little bit of green you can kind of see poking in here. I think that's the atomic. There's a lot of like line breeding with leopard geckos and how
Right.
the lines interact differently. So these atomic with the blood kind of creates that little like greenish, but she's really, really cute.
Now their husbandry's pretty easy
Yep.
for the leopard geckos, right?
Very easy. I keep them in a rack in the hot spot with about 88. Really the same as your ball pythons, to be quite honest with you.
Right.
Same exact temps. Trying to see if I got any other ones, but I've done pretty well selling the leopard gecko babies. I don't have like a ton left.
Do you raise
And-
any crested geckos?
I do not do crested geckos at this point.
Are you using humidity boxes in any of their stuff or just not?
Yeah, all of them get humidity. The babies, not until they get to like a certain size. Definitely all the adults get humidity boxes where they lay in. The babies, I just spray them down a little bit more every week. This guy has some clown in him, so he's got some more like pattern. But yeah.
How difficult is the breeding and egg laying process with hatching, and how's that? Walk us through some of that. Do you introduce them when, what time of year, what signs, what cues do you have that they're ready? And then tell us about that process a little bit. We're getting some good questions.
Yeah, they are super easy to breed. They breed a lot. So the process of it, they usually start to ovulate in about December, January-ish, and they run until about August.
What?
Yeah, you can usually, at least mine do, and that seems to be the consensus. You can tell they're ovulating when you kind of pick them up very gently, and they have, you see like several dark pink dots on the belly. Then you know they're ovulating. So then I put the male in with her. They usually need to be about 40, 45 grams to breed, and at least ideally a year and a half old. So once they hit that mark and they're ovulating, I just put the male in with the female. You visualize them lock. very quick process typically. Then I remove the male. Then I wait a day or two and I lock them again. Usually they're pretty good after 2 locks. Then I kind of just monitor her, look at her. Usually like they'll lay a clutch of eggs. Once they lock, it's about 2 to 3 weeks later, they'll lay a clutch of eggs. And you can actually see the eggs developing in the abdomen.
2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, typically.
That's fast.
And then they'll lay a clutch every 2 to 3 weeks after that. And they'll lay, I don't know, 10 eggs maybe in a season.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. They reproduce very fast. Yeah.
So what's your incubation?
So they're, like I kind of referred to earlier, is they're temp sexed. So you can influence the sex based on the temp. So I have 2 different incubators. I have one that runs at 82 for my girls, and then the other one's at 89 for my ball pythons, and I put the males in there. So I run them.
Right, because the warmer will make the males, the cooler makes the females.
Yeah.
Okay.
7 degrees is a huge amount of acceptable range, man. 7 degrees, because like on green tree pythons, you go down, you use a herpestat, and you go down tenths of a degree. And when you drop it the last 7 to 10 days, some people straight bake, and then some people drop the temp by a total of 1 or 2 degrees Fahrenheit, but they take it in increments over the course of a few days to a week. So 7 degrees of variation is a really wide margin.
It is. And I saw, Ashley, what to use for humid hides. I actually got like these pretty nifty, I found them off Etsy, but they are
3D printed.
3D printed humid hides, and I put coconut fiber in there. They love them. All my adults, they're always chilling in their humid hides. I mean, I probably got one in there.
Yeah, I've seen those 3D printed. That's the way to go right there for those humidity hides. There's definitely several different people that are putting them out.
Yeah.
What do those run? What's the ballpark on those?
I don't know, like $10 maybe.
Yeah, they're not very much.
They're not crazy. I mean, they add up if you have like a lot, obviously, but I just have Tupperware, like 3-cup Tupperware that I put a hole in the top, and then that can work too, and they go in there. So that's a really cheap version to do too. And the 3-cup is just enough to fit in the racks, and they can get in and out easily.
Do you find one's better than the other? Is one superior? Is it more aesthetics? Is one easier to clean, or one do they prefer? One's safer? Any benefits from one or the other?
I think it's more aesthetic. I mean, the cutting of the hole is a little bit difficult in the Tupperware, so I forget the term for it, but I got this heat thing that will burn the edges and make sure the edges aren't soft make sure the edges are soft in the plastic.
Yeah, you can use it. You can use a soldering iron.
That's what I got.
Yeah, soldering iron at your Harbor Freights or wherever on the low, and yeah, they work really well.
Your disdain for construction is showing through there.
Yeah, I know I'm not good at it, but I at least looked it up and saw how to do it. And it went okay, so yeah. Trying to look at any other questions here and can answer. But no, they definitely love the humid hides, and that's something that I really emphasize to people that get them as pets, because a lot of people think they're desert, which is true, but they really need the humid hide to shed and properly. You see the shed constricts the digits. It can get stuck in the eyes. Those are most two common problems I see as a vet with those guys. So I always highlight they need a humid hide and they love it. So
well, what about as far as you got that covered? Now, as far as their diet, like vitamin A's or anything they could be deficient on, like a supplement you would recommend?
Yep. So they don't have to have UVB. So in that case, you need calcium with vitamin D3 with every feeding. So they get that. And then I do a vitamin, like a Reptivite or something with vitamin A. Sometimes Pangea or Apache make a vitamin A supplement.
Yeah.
I do that twice a month.
What was something else I heard? Is it bee pollen I heard you can use? Or am I thinking something different or on the right track?
You're on the right track. There's a lot of good, I've been kind of reading more into that. There's not a whole lot of scientific papers on it, but I've seen a lot of people have good results. So I'm tempted to add that too, especially with my breeders, just kind of help. I don't see how it can hurt necessarily, but I try to do a lot of research before just doing something,
Right. Very
Yeah.
cool.
calcium
Very
and
cool. Yeah. But definitely if you have your calcium, with your D3 supplement, you're on the right track. Now are you gut loading your feeders the same and then you have that bowl, right? Do you have it in there to get it? Okay.
Yep. Typically, I get them, and they're pretty well fed from rainbow mealworms. But then sometimes I keep them for a day and just gut load the insects, and then I kind of like put them in the fridge after that because then they kind of slow down. They keep their metabolism, so they're like gut loaded, and they can stay fresh for a long time. And then I like give it to them.
Good idea.
If you cultivate mealworms, something I learned recently the hard way, and I've cultivated in the past, and I must have got lucky. I didn't get grain mites in the past, and recently I did. Ruined my 3 cultures. I read you gotta bake them for an hour. The oats, you just use plain or regular oats from Aldi, anywhere, cheap, Walmart, and you get a big old tub of Quaker oats or off-brand. You bake them on a cookie tray at 275 for an hour. And that prevents getting grain mites because when you get those babies going, you got to put it outside and pitch it, and that's a big loss. So I've learned that the hard way. But I cultivate mealworms, and then I also do discoid roaches. Those are great. So I have 1 leopard gecko and 1 Chinese cave gecko, and so I would like to get the food production up enough to where I could sell it locally. But do you switch your food up? Do you ever like get silkworms for a week as a treat, or do you switch up anything?
I occasionally will do waxworms as a treat. To my really big guys, the adults, they do like the superworms too. They can handle those pretty well. I hate the crickets, man. I usually stay away from those. They can carry parasites, so I don't really want to mess with that. They can, especially pinworms and stuff. Yeah. So I see it a lot with bearded dragons. Getting parasites, kind of, and I suspect from the cricket. They either come with it from PetSmart or Petco, or they kind of develop it with the crickets.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they can. And if you're getting the crickets from a good source, fine. But a lot of times we don't know, or I don't trust PetSmart or Petco. So yeah.
They're stinky. They're loud. They escape. They're tough to. I feel like they're hard to propagate. Ashley, I know, buys a silly amount of crickets and insects, and she has her hands full. I know that for sure.
Yep, and they like what else? The dubia. They like the dubia. Just of course don't feed them like the too large dubia. But mine just love the mealworms, so that's their primarily diet, and they're super easy to do. So
if you've got 2 awesome, badass genetics in your breeders, what are the odds? Like we mentioned odds about ball pythons earlier. Are all the babies guaranteed to be as awesome as the parents are if you mix the hets or mix the genes, or is there still some normals in ball python terminology that pop out and you're like, well, there went my X number of dollars I spent on these 2 breeders, and then I got some ones that are worth $20. Does it turn out that way or no?
I would say not really. It kind of depends on what leopard gecko genes you're like kind of working with, because a lot of the tangerine stuff I'm doing is a lot of line breeding, and so if you have a really good mom and a really good dad, your babies are gonna be like pretty good. They're not all gonna be as good as the mom or dad. You'll have some that are better. You'll have some that aren't as good. So you kind of keep back the ones that are the best, and that's how you kind of continue that part of it. You obviously have like your albinos, which are, flat or visual. Then you have some of your codominant stuff, which you'll see some like influence with it, but in order to get a really good expression, you kind of have to like line breed it a little bit or do several generations to kind of get it to show through. So it kind of depends on what genes you're working with leopard geckos.
What shows on the T positive versus T negative albinism? Like what's the difference that someone like me that's not knowledgeable on leopard gecko genes, how does that show, or what's a common expression, or what's a marketplace phrase that I can go, oh, that's this one?
Yeah, well, so there's different lines of albino. There's the bell, the rainwater, and your tremper. So it's really hard to kind of tell the difference between the 2, so you don't want to like just cross different albinos because you're not going to know like what you're getting. So you want to kind of stick with one in that specific project. Typically you saw in some of my babies, they have a lot of black dots like in the tail. The albinos will be like more white, like that first one I showed, that orange and white one. She's an albino. So you saw like how her tail was more white, and then sometimes albinos have different colored eyes. Sometimes they can be red, or have
Oh,
some sort of albinistic influence in the eyes. Hers were a little more light, like a clear yellow, and then my other babies that aren't albino, they're all like black. So those are kind of some signs you can kind of see.
can they get gout? When
I
anything that
haven't.
causes that?
I feel like I haven't seen them get gout really before. Not saying that they can't, but they are primarily insectivores, so their body is made up to be able to handle a lot of like the protein. So the gout is just due to the buildup of uric acid, which is because your kidneys can't really, they're overloaded with too much protein. So I see it a lot in bearded dragons when people don't want to feed them salads, or with turtles, people who aren't feeding them vegetables, they're feeding mainly protein. That's where you kind of see the gout mostly. I'd have to look out for leopard gecko specifically. I haven't personally seen cases of it, but I'm not like a reptile vet all the time, so I don't know. I have to look. Maybe, but not as often.
Ooh, that brings up something I wanted to ask you about. Reptile vet. That phrase, and I feel like I've heard other vets say like you don't really get taught. It's like 1 week of exotic animals,
Yep.
in vet schooling, and like you have to kind of seek it out yourself as an interest and go almost like a fellowship, either while you're in school or after school, to kind of learn the ins and outs. I would assume equine and large farm animal would be something similar, a different discipline, but they don't just teach, they teach you the cursory edges of those disciplines, but you have to kind of have someone to mentor you and teach you if you want to be like a run. You have clinic hours Monday through Thursday, and you specialize. You don't see that many cats and dogs, but you see snakes, and you're the go-to person for the region. Do you know do you know any vets that are specialized in that, or how niche is that?
It's pretty niche. I mean, in order to, so I guess there's, I want to say variability in that. Some will take a special interest after school and kind of develop their craft, so to speak, with experience and kind of dealing with the reptile stuff. But I feel like that's more of the older kind of generation that I'm seeing. The newer, like when I graduate and people after me, in order to kind of do the reptiles, they have to often do an internship focusing on that and do residency after that. So at least 3-4 years, whether in zoo or in exotic pet medicine, that's where you get specialization. And a lot of people don't do that. Why? Well, you don't get paid very well in internship or residency. Maybe it's probably changed since I've been out of school, but when I was in school, 20, 30,000, 40,000 a year was the norm. So I'm sure it's more, I would hope more now, but still with everything being so expensive, a lot of people aren't going that route because it takes so long.
I've heard that with fellowships, and even in human medicine, like those guys make like 40 to 50 grand a year.
Yeah.
It's just enough to keep the lights on.
Yep.
It's not a good living, but you're an MD, it's on your badge, but you still are underneath the intensivist or somebody at in the ICU. It does remind me, so I got a medical background, and so is my ex-wife. She is a PA, she runs the ICU. So I'm pretty familiar with like the hierarchy, and it's interesting how you have to have a fellowship in pulmonology or do something like that, or cardiology or something if you want to become an ICU, higher up, doctor, PA, NP. And I assume, I guess that kind of translates to the animal world. If you're going equine or large animal or exotic mammal or something like that. Carly, that was in here earlier, she's a marine biologist and studies little tiny, she's, small things. And she said it's not as glorious as people. Oh, you're an exotic animal vet. Yeah. And you're like, well, hold on a minute. You wouldn't believe what I have to do all day.
Yeah, a lot of people will glorify, a lot of people attack vets and I'm not saying all vets are like this. I'm sure there are some that are not ideal out there, but only like price gouging or whatever. That's kind of one of my pet peeves. I'm not saying there's probably vets out there that of course are like charging a lot because they can, but a lot of people don't understand the amount of the time of school that it takes. I mean, A lot of my friends are in $200,000 to $300,000 in debt
Yep.
to go to vet school. Like it's the same as human med, and the salaries aren't at near as much with human compared to human. It's getting better, but yeah.
Right.
So that's a hard part of that. Yeah, so I see somebody in here, especially all the student loans. Yeah, like I went to school in state, so I have like a considerable amount, but it's not like my friends, at least like $200,000-$300,000. Like I don't know if I'd be a vet if it was going to be that much, to be quite honest with you.
They're starting a vet school here at the college right down the street from me, ASU.
Oh, really?
It's brand new. It's just starting up, I think, next scholastic year.
Okay.
And the dean, I believe, is a female.
Oh,
If I
cool.
remember correctly.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, definitely more. There's a shortage of vets. It wasn't like that when I was in school, but COVID really turned up the notch. Like a lot of people got pets, and now there's a real short. It's hard to people could get into their vet. That's why I do a lot of like the online consulting stuff. Has provided like an outlet for people who can't see the in-person vet to do the online consulting thing.
That's very good. That's got to be a good niche right there.
It is. I do very, very well with the online
Yeah,
stuff,
I'd like to
believe
see
it or
more.
not.
Right, that needs to be, especially for the reptile keeping. I mean,
Yeah.
then you can get them steered in the right direction, because it's even
Yep.
out here. I know a vet clinic that, they work with reptiles, and then one of the girls that runs a local rescue, she actually worked at that vet for a long time, but they're like the only one anywhere close to me, or, unless you drive 2 hours away to go down to LA.
Better. They're booked out for months and months and months. So one company that I work for, it's called Dutch Veterinary. You can look it online. It's kind of like a subscription based program. You can have up to 5 pets on there, but they can do prescriptions based on your state. So not every state is involved, but most of them are. And they can do prescriptions for mild things like flea and tick, itchy, ear infection. Of course, it's not your end all be all. You still have to go to the vet for some things, but that's really helped people get medications and treatment without, having to go into the vet and wait to be seen. UTIs is another one I've commonly seen. So yeah.
Are you going to expand any species there personally? Is there anything else? We've already kind of touched on the green tree python, but as far as breeding, is there anything that, because it takes a little while to get your feet wet and get your sea legs under you with green trees, right?
Yeah. And that I just plan on getting the one for now, and then whatever sex that one ends up being, get the opposite sex. I know Carly even popped in here. She's like, "No, you're gonna stop breeding them." I don't know. I mean, I've been in this for a little over a year. I started July of last year, really investing in a lot, and I kind of just want to work the projects right now, see what I can handle. I don't want to spread myself too thin, and I want to do the projects that I'm interested in at a high level. So nothing in the immediate future besides the green tree of species. There's one that I like. I like the tree monitors. I like the hognoses, but probably after I'm done with my PhD, once I'm kind of settled somewhere and see where things are at, space-wise, money-wise, time-wise.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to get too overloaded, because you got a lot of irons in the fire, and
Yep.
anything you do, making it bigger, whatever it can be. I get that.
Yeah.
Be a little overwhelming, and then it's too much like working overtime all the time.
It takes money and time away from the current projects I got, and I want to make sure those are really, really firing on all cylinders before I start trying to spread.
That's probably very smart. I mean, I think a lot of people lack that restraint. Like I've capped myself at 3 species, and aside from the 2 geckos, I don't have any other reptile pets. I don't have a house full of reptiles. I have 1 dedicated snake room and 3 species, and it's all I'm focusing on, trying to make sure, like you said, don't spread yourself too thin. Hey, Dredd, you're showing paused. I hear you talking like normal. Your camera's grayed out like you're on pause, brother.
Really?
Yeah, I can't. No, you're a little bit more normal now. Now we got your icon. Well, you're never going to be normal, but we can get you closer. No, still no camera. There's Dredd. Oh, he's like my security blanket. I have to see him.
Yeah.
Kind of weird. Maybe it's something I'm doing.
It's all good now, brother. Don't touch anything. You're good.
Who knows? Weird. We have technical issues over here at the Dreadnought household all the time, so that's just part of it. Right? You think I'm related to Kyle with all his internet issues.
I feel like your video quality is clear. You have less lag with whatever internet improvements you've done so far. You've had I just think you're coming across way better compared to some of those other nights who are having some issues. So
yeah, we're still troubleshooting it to see. We'll get it figured out at some point.
Mothras, welcome.
What up, Mothras?
Mothras, we've got Q&A here. Anybody?
Yeah,
got
y'all bring up some questions. What do y'all want to talk about? Right?
You know that Ashley left. She had all the good ones.
Yeah, Ashley had a lot of good ones.
Where's
yeah.
Carly? Carly come back. Get Carly in here. She'll get something going.
Well, it's probably 9 right? It's 9 where she is. I know she was a little under the weather when I talked to her today. My snake from her is probably in the air by now on its way to Memphis.
Oh, so exciting.
So if everything goes good, I'll get it first thing in the morning and then boogie to work. She's like, just leave it in the box for the day at home. It'll be fine. Because, temperature controlled. So I may do a live unboxing when I first get home is what she's like, you should do that.
Yeah.
Yes, I need to do an unboxing. Yeah. Yeah, I guess she suggested it. Now, look, Quartz Exotic says, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you got to do one.
Well, I'm always that guy. Like, I'm not, I do a lot of things for clicks in the show, but when it comes to the animals, I'm just like, we'll look at this later. Let's get it settled. And, I went like 14 out of 15 with ball pythons coming in and rainbow boas eating on their first night home with me. So I go through a routine where I get them at work. They ship to me at work. I babysit them all day in their tote, with humidity and heat and a temp gun. And I bring them home and just put them right in their little spot. And then they eat at night for me first night home. And so I don't mess with them a whole lot. I don't have to be like, hey, look what I got today. I might not show you for a couple of weeks until they're good and settled. So for me, I'm a little bit like green tree python. Do I need to show it off? Like I'm a little bit nervous I just want to put it in its house and like, don't look at it. Don't touch it. Don't look at me. Like, I don't know. It's going to be awesome though.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely do a live. I get to stop in and.
It'll have to be like right at 6 o'clock. I'll walk the dog and I'll come back in here and go on live, I guess, right away because I won't be able to wait. It's been in the box all day, so. Well, cool. So what's next for the show? What's next for Trap Talk? So you're talking about swapping some Friday nights, seeing some other hosts. What do you got in the pipelines? You got you getting good response from when you reach out to people? I know I've kind of struggled. Honestly, I'll be honest. The bearded dragon community.
Yeah,
I can't get nobody to answer me. I call up.
That one let me check now. That one I emailed, I don't think she emailed me back unless I check my spam and stuff, but I haven't seen her message me back. I don't know, the leopard gecko is kind of similar, man. I've asked some and they're like, no, I'm good. I'm like, all right, peace, I guess. I keep looking. I want to get some more leopard gecko ladies on, because I feel like it's needed. Not a lot of people know about the genetics or everything. I even struggle with trying to find information myself.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. We are striking out with the bearded dragon so far, and that's like one of the top search when you look deep into the stuff on TikTok. That's one of the top. That and leopard.
Right. Everybody wants to know about beardies and leopards, geckos. So you'd think people would be jumping to get on the show and talk about it.
Yeah.
But there's some big ones. There's some huge ones with like 130, 140,000 followers, be it on TikTok or Instagram. There's some really mega people. And I've reached out to folks of all different various levels. And the one that responded to me was like, I'm really shy on camera. I don't really get on camera. I don't, So like, okay, well, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. No one else, everything else is just crickets. So.
Yeah. I don't know if I haven't seen there's some local to me. I can at the next show I can kind of reach out and see if they're there and see if they'd want to be on maybe. There's some though that I'm like, probably not the best ideal.
We do try to have interesting people on, and we want to hear about because there's a lot of different morphs. There's the ones that scaleless and all these great colors and sunfire and
this black dragon thing, the monster things are cool. I'd like to know more about those.
Oh yeah, definitely. If you guys in the comments know anybody or recommend a bearded dragon, person, send them through to us, right? Give us their info, and we can reach out and research and see. Maybe we can get somebody to buy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. We've been striking out with that, yeah. And we're already booked for the year, so we're looking at, changing up some flavors coming this year, some other backgrounds,
Mm-hmm. I try to keep mine kind of like a month out.
The pink
A
dragon.
month, 6 weeks. If it's longer than that, people are kind of like, I don't know my schedule that far out type of thing. So I
Yep.
found like my kind of niche is a month, 6 weeks. So I have Ball Morphix. She's from Canada, actually, coming up this Sunday for ball pythons. Corey Martin's also coming up. She does a lot of tree monitor stuff. I haven't reached out to her yet, but I like to get Megan from Megaconda on about anaconda stuff. And Jen from Cigar City is going to come on with her mom. So I'm really excited for that episode too. Talk about how her mom got into it and how she got Jen into it and go from there, yeah. Yeah, and that and have Emilio I'd like to come on eventually. I have to reach out to him and see on who he'd like to be on with and do some stuff like that.
I had to scare up a pen and paper while someone had made a good suggestion. Brian made a good suggestion. I went to write it down. And then I found a pen and it didn't work. So then I had to find a second pen.
yeah, I'm trying to look up their account. Where do we pick them up at? Extreme.
Yeah, Brian runs with them a lot, and they're awesome. Well, cool. Yeah, we're struggling to find a bearded person, which is, mainstay in the reptile community. And, well, I sure love to have somebody on. So that's great. I really appreciate that suggestion. Tree monitors are scorching hot. Those couldn't be any more popular right now as far as...
Yeah, very popular.
I would like I need to do more research. I think they take a lot of time and space, but that is on the list for me to get, long term down the road. Something interactive.
Blue, yellow, or green?
I like the blue. My favorite color is like that turquoise blue. So I
know.
yeah, you already know. I blame you, because after that episode, I was like, the only way I get a green tree is if it had a good chance of being that turquoise blue color that I love.
And then I showed you the two parents that Chuck had, and I was like, what about these?
Yeah, I was like, dang! I was like, that female is just absolutely stunning. Yes, so I blame you for that, but I'm excited for those babies, so.
Come springtime.
Yeah.
Did you get on the list? I'm number 8.
I'm number 3, I think.
Ooh.
3 or 4.
Are you going high pattern or low pattern?
I don't know. I told him you pick. So I told him. I was like, I want one. When do they do like their color change? Is that like a long time?
Oh boy,
like a year?
Is so variable. Some people, and I feel like it's hyperbole. They'll say they'll change overnight. They'll shed and wake up in the morning, and I'm like, well, okay. I don't understand the science of the pigment and the scales being that quick, but okay. Man, it can happen. It can start at 6 months. It could take 6 months. It could take. Sometimes they don't get done with color change till age 4 or 5.
Oh wow.
Generally, it's around age 2, 18 months to 24 months. But different localities, different pigmentation, different genetics. It's a mixed grab bag. I guess maybe the clutch, if you know the parents, from someone like a captive born breeder, and they've maybe paired before with that, you might have a better, you could put a pin on the calendar a little better. But yeah, the different localities and stuff, it's all different, man. And it can be quick, a few months, it can be a couple years. It's really kind of wild.
Yeah. So yeah, I just told him, I'll go whatever you pick. This is my first one. I'm not super like. I'd be nice if it was blue, but I know you can't know that when they're that young. That's the only thing where I'm like, ideally, but we'll see.
Courts asked if they stay that yellow color. Very few. High yellow is a special bloodline. The famous one back in the late 80s to mid 90s was lemon tree. And some other people have worked at some of the Australians, which is a closed country, has some really great yellows there. And there are some yellows here, but they are really pretty rare, the high yellows. And it's more of a lime yellow tennis ball than it is like the yellow Neos that we're getting. A different shade of yellow. But there's very few that stay that bright yellow into adulthood courts. They all change. It's like a box of chocolates, Mama says.
You never know what you're gonna get.
Oh yeah, he sounds just like him.
Mama says life is like a box of chocolates. Lieutenant Dan, get you a grain tray.
Shrimp gumbo. We got shrimp
That's-
Get
steak.
you a grain tray like in Strictly. He's got more grain trays than Davy Crockett.
That sounds just like him. Wow, that's a really good impersonation.
You know, me and Jenny, we used to run around and play snakes, catch snakes and frogs, you know. Jenny'd put a frog in my hair and I'd pee my pants.
Oh, I love that movie.
It is a good one.
Oh,
Most
yeah.
Tom Hanks movies are though. I mean, they're all pretty much most of them. He's a solid
That's
actor.
true. That's true. Most of the ones. I like the one he's on a island somewhere, Castaway or something.
Castaway.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Kind
It's
of
long, but it's dang
Oh,
good.
he's one of the best actors of all time, for sure.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
to think he started on Bosom Buddies in the early
Right,
80s.
right, and that was cool. Who remembers Bosom Buddies?
This old guy.
Awesome.
All right, we got any other questions in the comments? Christa, you got anything for us that we should know that we can't live without? Some juicy tidbits, some factoid we must take with us and go forth.
I don't know. I feel like nothing on the top of my head. If you got any questions, you can ask or reach out to me, ask me on Instagram or something like that.
DJ, ask us a question, bud, in the comments.
Oh, he's got a question. I feel like I
Thanks,
showed
Courts.
my favorite animals and what I'm kind of working with to give you an idea.
Everyone loves the animals. That's always a good answer.
Yeah. I mean, a
Yeah,
lot of
we've noticed that the more you talk about them and show them, it seems like that keeps everybody excited. Everybody likes to troubleshoot and to get into the nitty gritty, but
Yeah.
when they're up here and you really get into the cool stuff, that seems to be what everybody enjoys. But sometimes it's hard, and I know you're on the YouTube platform. Sometimes it's hard to keep them on the screen the whole time because there's a lot of stuff you want to talk about.
Yeah.
You know, and you run into that same thing over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Yes. I like to have a little bit of interactive. I think I had a bioactive guest on where she did like a live like bioactive setup and she showed us some isopods and that was really fun too.
The smug bug.
Smug bug, yeah. That
Yeah,
was good.
I interacted with her a bunch back in like 2018 to 2021. Isopod stuff.
Okay, he's asking about shed. Man, you can wait until she crawls out of that shed. Sometimes it can take 2 weeks. It just depends.
Yeah, I feel like usually you'll see them go in the blue where their eyes are blue. Then they go out of blue for, at least for mine, 3 or 4 days, and then they shed usually 3 to 4 days after they come out of blue.
Yeah, you'll see their eyes and stuff will get clear, and then usually after that, what she's saying, a couple of days they'll crawl out.
Yeah.
Just be patient. Sometimes it can take, I don't know. I've had them being shed up to almost 2 weeks, so
Yep.
it's a variable. And
you might be
their
like
eyes
a
will be
week
very
out.
gray and dark. Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
about
it's
a week out, and usually they have a big old poo when they shed too, about the same night. So
Some snakes, some reptiles or snakes will eat and shed. I have some now that they don't care what they're doing; they'll just eat. And then other snakes won't eat while they're in shed. And then, especially when they're really deep and can't see, they won't. But usually, when they crawl out, boom, you can throw something to them and they'll eat, or just keep them on your regular regimen. If they miss a week or two because they're in shed, don't worry about it. Right? Just keep them back. Just keep them on your normal feeding regimen.
Yep. That's about mine too, yeah. Some that we eat in shed and some that won't.
Yeah.
the
That's a
stinkiest-
common thing with all especially with ball pythons, even your boas. You're on the right track, DJ.
Yeah, she'll probably shed. I would guess in the next week if they're
Just
gray.
keep your humidity, like I said, keep your humidity up really good, right now, especially when she's going through that shed. So that way she has a really clean shed, and then it can come down and have a little dry out period. That's fine, but definitely during shed is when you really want to keep that humidity up, that 70-75% range if you can.
So when you vend your shows, do you take any heat source for your geckos or your ball pythons?
Not for the day. Right now, most of them they're just day shows. I do bring a heat tape that I will put down, mostly for the snakes. I'm doing a couple that are multiple days long, and so I will probably get like a large heat mat and have them kind of sitting on that overnight at the weekend show. Yeah.
Gotcha. You do them both
Okay.
days at Tinley?
You mean the NARBC? Or
Are
which
you?
one?
Are you vending? You're vending St. Louis?
Yep.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, as of last night, I saw they had some open tables, and I was like, maybe. And then the friends were like, you should probably do it. So I was like, why not? If they have one, I'll do it. And they.
Oh, I thought I remember you had plans. Isn't Tinley the other Tinley in March or something? Isn't it?
It's in March. I did go to Tinley a few weeks ago just to visit, just to hang out. Yeah. So that was a lot of
Super
fun.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you enjoy vending? I mean, is that something you really look forward to, or it just?
I do and I don't. I get really tired after it drains a ton out of me. So I really am really tired after I do them. I like the moment of doing them. It's kind of got me a little bit to get my head around them, like going into the shows and not expecting to sell, because that's when I kind of get a little bit frustrated with, because innately I'm a competitive person a little bit. Like I want to do well, and so it's trying to.
Right.
How can I mark the show as a success? I mean, you can think easy, if I make X amount of sales and that's a success. And so it's kind of taken my mind to not think like that, because you can't really control what people are coming to look for. I can control how I approach people, how I talk to people, how I can sell, but I cannot, as far as that, it's out of my control. So trying to get my head wrapped around that and not be so set on how many animals I move. Just that if they do move, they go to good homes, and that's it.
So definitely interaction is key with the potential, clients or whatever, people coming through. A lot of interaction. Don't be sitting here on your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, be up, talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. And if they want to buy from you, great. If they don't, okay, great.
Do you ever have people that don't have the money the day of the show, but then they follow up and hit you up in a couple weeks or a couple months and then pull the trigger on an animal they were drooling over, or no?
I haven't really had that. I've had a lot of people take cards and they'll say they'll reach out, but usually I haven't had anybody that's followed through on that. I sell pretty decently on Morph Market, and then I've lately done pretty well at shows. I'll move a couple leopard geckos. The last show I did, that was the first one with my ball pythons, and I sold a couple, pretty nice ones that went pretty well. And yeah, just kind of take it day by day and see how things go.
You even get that on here, right? You're showing something that's available. Oh yeah, I want that. Hit me up and get, here's the information. And you get a lot of the tire kickers. Just come through and communicate, guys. I get it. It's just all part of it.
Yeah, and I don't, that's what, if they do, they do. They don't.
Yeah,
they
right.
Don't. And they'll do that in the show too. They'll come be like, well, let me look around for a little bit. And it's hit or miss whether they follow through. They're like, I'll come back and get that one. I'm like, okay, I've learned.
Yeah, don't hold your breath, right? No, I'm not holding my breath.
Because the time
Enjoy
they
the
made
show.
a
We
loop, they already
appreciate your
spent their
time.
money.
Yeah, we're here if you decide. So,
Yeah, like I'll be here,
Yeah.
So it is what it is. You just gotta talk to people, make a nice display, look professional, are all keys. That makes a big difference.
Now this is the other thing with going to a show. Do you have printed up care sheets that you like to take as well if someone does purchase?
Usually I do, yes. Some shows I forget to bring them, I'll be honest. But usually, yes, I do have one for the leopard geckos. Or if I don't have them there, I send them to where it's at online, like a veterinarian recommended one. And then I kind of made my own ball python, like, adjustment sheet that I'll email them or something like that.
Right. Okay, very cool. Very cool.
I think that's super important, especially in these kind of, well, I think any species, but yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. I like that. Okay.
Yeah. And
I know we got
have-
Elise Jamil in here. You want to we could open up a couple of boxes if anyone in the V unit wants to hang out for a second before you got to go.
Sure, yeah. Whoever wants to jump on.
Run it, dude. Run it how you want to run it. You know that. This has been really cool. We sure appreciate you coming hanging out with us.
Yeah, no
For
problem.
sure. You know that anytime. You're welcome anytime. You know that. So
I appreciate that. It's been a lot of
we
fun.
love it.
Hey, what's up?
Mothras, what's up, brother?
All right, I sent a couple invites out. See, these are some people that I know. Uh-oh. All right, I sent a couple invites out. See, these are some people that I know. See if that works. All right, I sent a couple invites out. See, these are some people that I know. See if that works. All right, I sent a couple invites out. See, these are some people that I know. All right, I sent a couple invites out. See, these are some people that I know. It was actually the guest. It was the guest account. Guest account. Yep. And when I unmuted it, it came back.
Am I good?
Guest account. Yep. And when I unmuted it, it.
I think it's still me.
No, it's not.
No?
Nope. Let's try that. Hold on. Stand by for technical difficulties.
Hey, it's all part of it, but the show must go on.
Now I can't unmute her. Oh no, I broke it.
Hold on.
Something's happening, Jimmy. Something's happening. Help!
She has to unmute it.
Can you unmute it, Christa?
Unmute your mic.
Help!
Okay.
She has to unmute it.
Can you unmute it, Christa? Unmute your mic.
I think
Swipes on the top, your notification bar down, and then reclose it. Try that.
I think it's better.
Yep, that's what Jamil was hanging out today. Yep, he's right. And we heard that from Tim as well.
Is it still doing it when I talk?
No, it wasn't you, brother.
Notification it went away, but wow, that was weird.
No, we heard that. You have an iPhone, right? That's what we heard today, Christa. I just learned that this afternoon. I had a call drag because he's got an iPhone too. And Tim from Hair Down Fridays that hangs out with Wiz and Keys, he runs a lot. He has a live on here all the time, and Jamil was on there, and they said that with the iPhones, for some reason it'll happen, and it's an undetermined amount of time, and it'll just pop up. Mothers, you got any good questions, man? Oh, you're good. No, you're good, brother.
DJ, what are you wondering about, bud?
It's crazy when you invite people how it bumps everything around.
Y'all keep some questions coming in right quick.
DJ, I'm wondering about something. Yeah, shoot.
What's your day starting like tomorrow? I guess we took up your time, so you didn't do any consulting tonight. What's up, Dylan?
I'll do some late tonight. Probably.
What up, Dylan? What up?
Probably gotta clean some rest tomorrow. Probably go into work a little bit too. Do some paperwork. I don't have any experiments I need to do tomorrow. Probably. I have a meeting with my boss Monday, so I should probably prep that meeting PowerPoint sooner rather than later. So I'll probably do that tomorrow too.
Here's a good
we got
question.
Do small snakes need supplements?
I don't think so. If you're just getting like the rodent, it's all there, like the calcium and everything's with the rodent. So they don't need like calcium or vitamin. It should all just be with the rodent, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Unless there's some weird species out there that needs additional that I don't know of, but
Yeah, the ball pythons, you may not catch them drinking much. They can go a month without water. I mean, don't be surprised. They may drink. Some you'll catch them drinking, and some you'll hardly ever see them drink. So always
some you'll catch them getting in a water bowl, and some of them will never get in a water bowl. So it just varies.
I change my water probably 3 times a week because they'll knock their cocoa chip and stuff in there. They don't poop in it, but they'll get cocoa chip and stuff in there. And I'm changing my water. I make it easy on myself. I keep a jug of filtered water and a bin to toss it in so I'm not back and forth to the sink. And if it's not bad, I'll just rinse it out and do that. And if it's bad, I'll take it and go wash it. But I change their water quite a bunch.
I'm gonna ask, is there a ball python trading community, or are most just money? I think it depends on the person. I definitely have friends that have traded. Usually I feel like people you know, and the trade has to be fair, which can be difficult depending on what projects you're in or anything like that. By fair, I mean just it's worth it to both people. But people certainly do trade. I don't know if there's like a set community out there of traders. I think it's more between friends that I know of.
Yeah, that's typically, someone you'll do a trade or a project with, but
yeah, co-breeding with someone you know and trust is a lot more
Yeah.
common than a trade. And I don't think there's like a swap house website for that stuff. No,
No, I haven't seen anything.
It's really all based on inquiry. I mean, if you go to a show, for example, and you have genetics, you definitely can ask if they accept trades. As well on Morph Market, as long as the breeder makes in the post that they're willing to do, a variant change in price, like a smaller offer, or they'll also have a trade option as well. So it really all bases off of the inquiry when you inquire on a snake.
Yeah, basics to varieties. Another thing is most expos really don't want you to bring your own pet from home. So that trade you're talking about is then a future transaction because they don't know you, you don't know them. They don't want you to bring your animal around because of everyone's a suspect, right? So you can't bring your pets in really. So now that vendor is probably, an hour, 2, 8, 10 hours away. What are you going to do? That trade then starts to become expensive because you have to ship back and forth. So it's kind of tough to walk into an expo and pull off a trade because maybe amongst vendors, that would be a very different and a highly likely story where vendors would be like, hey, Bob, you got this? Well, yeah, Joe, I got that. And so two vendors who are in the game, who know the game, who are breeding, and they're both there in person for the weekend, you're much more likely to see a trade go down. But as far as you or me walking in, paying the door fee and going in, you're not going to pull that off, I wouldn't think.
No, it's an option, but like you mentioned, it all has to be based off of common ground or like mutual knowing. If you walk in and ask a random stranger, there's a chance that they'll say no. But even then, like he said, it's really all based off of the being mutual, or if that person's actually really cool with it. Because I've had people like that in the past, but then you don't. Some people just kind of look at you and laugh.
I had something interesting that happened to me at a show. These people were walking around, didn't have an animal with them, but they had a business card, and they were just walking up to breeders. They had a male, and I forget the genes. It was like a GHI Mojave or something like that, but they were like trying to stud off their male to breeders and things like that. Like they have a little card and was like, hey, reach out if you're interested in using our male, you can keep all the babies or whatever. And I would just pay like a fee, but that was pretty strange to me. Like it caught me off guard. I just wasn't.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
You see that in dog breeding, but that's weird to see that in.
Just walk around. I'm like, I can't really I got my own males. Like I don't really need him.
Right.
Yeah, I don't want to get nothing unless it's only somebody I know and trust. I want to work with a trade or breeding project.
That's an important word.
Yeah.
Trust. Because I could say this snake has het everything just like Canova wants and doesn't have. Do you want to trade it? And I just made it all up. Like, and if I had the only thing that would help alleviate those concerns would be like an actual shed test, from Charlie, or you know what I mean, like to have that in your hand, a shed test. But even then, the documents can be faked. So it'd be pretty tough. Trust, I think, is the really key word there, Dred. I think you nailed it.
Oh yeah, mites are not fun.
Yeah, no, and the same thing. You get mites bringing something in. It's the whole deal.
Big
Like if I got something from Strictly, I'd put it right in my snake room because I trust him. I know what he's doing. Probably the same for Mothras, right? If I trust you guys and know your setup and what you're doing, all right, I'd be safe with bringing an animal into my room. I'd be okay with taking that risk, okay? Because I know these guys, I know their husbandry, I know what they're doing. But someone else, no.
Yeah. I think it's always good to have like a, I don't know, setup. Yeah, just do what people use.
Yeah, you should always have a quarantine. I agree. Like I brought some in here recently, and I didn't quarantine them. I just put them in the rack and hope for the best, and so far so good. But I did enough research. But even on that, right, they can still be a big reputable person, and things just happen.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
it just happened. So
Yeah, why would I minimize it? But yeah, trust is what. Yeah, even shared projects. I'd have to really trust that person. It's not like I don't want to be mean or nothing, but I like to control my own,
right, no doubt, no doubt.
Do you ever recommend to people, or do you yourself practice like prophylactically treating for mites when something comes in? Or do you think the neurological risk aren't necessary if the animal looks clean, passes the Kleenex test, you don't see any mites? How can you be sure? What's your procedure when you bring in a new animal?
I prophylactically treat for mites kind of. I'll usually do like a quick, a really light, like ivermectin kind of spray the tub initially, and then lightly spray the animal. No water or anything. I put the water out.
Yeah.
So I do that just the one time, and just kind of monitor from there. But I kind of prophylactically treat just to be on the safe side, because I don't want to have to deal with that.
Right.
I dealt with it. A very long time ago when I only had my one at the time, so it was before I got any other ones. I do some teaching at the local vet school, and I brought him to for handling and to teach them about ball pythons. Well, somebody else must have had a snake, because I got mites from that. And mine were the only animals there, so just to put it I didn't even think that he would get that from that. But yeah,
wow,
that was 2 or 3 years ago. It's been a while, but yeah.
Well, the Seventh Ward Dragon was asking, is it really a big deal? It's someone, I don't know if it was him, someone had said if you just have a few snakes. And you're right, it's not as big deal if you have just a few. I have 30, and some of them are very expensive. And I don't want to put a green tree python through a bath mite treatment if you don't want to handle them. They're like a reef tank. You look but don't touch. So ball pythons are easier from a handling standpoint, but you got to throw out all your substrate. How much does your substrate cost you? If it's paper towels, not so bad. Puppy pads, not so bad. You got cocoa chip in 30 bins, that starts to get expensive.
Yeah.
So you got to throw away all your substrate. How many hours of your life does it take to wash everything out with dish soap, bleach water, and then treat it with, what'd you say, vermectin? It's some kind of a appropriate pet-safe pesticide. Treat it all. Has to be dry. You can't rush the animal into it. You need to wash and sterilize all your water dishes and put them back in. And then you have to bathe your snakes properly and put them back in the enclosures, and then potentially repeat the whole process in a week or two. So when you've got 5 snakes, that's still a giant pain in the ass in 3 hours of your afternoon. If you've got 30 snakes, it's a nightmare. It sounds simple, but it ends up being a big old pain.
Okay, what would be some things to look for to know if they have mites? How would be, because sometimes you don't know until you see something crawling around, or give us some ideas of how you could check.
Yeah, I usually initially when I get them, put them on paper towel, because they'll look like a little seed, like black sunflower. I don't say sunflower seeds, but those poppy seeds. That's what it is. Black poppy seeds, and you'll see them in the paper towel, and then that's how you can kind of know. For me, if it's not obvious on the snake, but you'll see them in the paper towel, then you know. So.
You dampen it? I like to dampen it to see if it gets any sticks to it a little bit, or do you like to use yours dry? What do you find is better?
I like dry. And I do mist it a little bit down so it's not soaking, but there's a little bit of moisture to it.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. And what's your go-to, for lack of a better, what's your go-to pesticide that's safe that you like to use?
I do the ivermectin. You can get it online, Amazon actually. It's got a cow on it. It's like a blue solution, but it's like a pour-on ivermectin that they do. I kind of learned it from Snake Discovery actually. They have a pretty good
I don't have that one.
video going over the amount you use and diluting, so that's what I kind of go off of. I dilute it in some water and go from there.
Wow, so you didn't have to get the name brand Reptile One on Reptile Basics and pay $30 a bottle, is what you're saying?
No, I forgot how much it is. It's not. It may be 20-ish, but it's a pretty decent amount of.
I'm sure it's a lot more volume. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I do. And for people that have little hamsters or something, or guinea pigs that get mites, you put a drop on the back of them with that, and it usually kills them.
I had a scare once, and I ended up not being an issue. But I was scrambling, like, oh my god, where can I get it? And where I live is kind of a void of reptile life, and there ain't no place to buy it off the shelf. And maybe I didn't know enough to cross-reference what would be used in perhaps like farm animals, because I have that at my disposal around here. But there's all kinds of stores for farm life.
Is
But
it
for
something like that?
Yep, that's exactly it.
Back to basic.
Yep, that's the product.
Okay.
And then
Get it on hand before, in case you have a nightmare and you're like, oh crap, you can treat it. Let's say you got it in a couple bins, and you treat them tonight before you go to bed, and then check everyone again in the morning, and it maybe didn't spread. So sometimes you can get on it quick. I like to have it on hand and just not use it, as opposed to, oh shit, I need it now. I needed it yesterday and I can't find it. Because for me, in my area where I live, I ain't gonna find it. It's just not here.
Well, and I tell you another thing you can use. Not everybody talks about. Okay, especially for preventative maintenance. It'll even work if you see them diatomaceous earth, food grade. It's dusty, and it's gonna get it. It's gonna get everywhere in your room. But diatomaceous earth, you can dust your stuff with it. That food grade diatomaceous earth, and it will not hurt your snakes. You can dust your rats with it. Put it in your tubs. That's another thing to help with mite control.
It doesn't hurt your rodents' lungs
Just
and nasal
preventative
passage?
maintenance. Huh?
It doesn't hurt the rodents' lungs or nasal passage? I've heard of it as a trail around your bins, because the mites can't travel from bin to bin. Because diatomaceous earth is the exoskeleton of like microcrustaceans, right? So if under a microscope they're super sharp, like razors, not to our hands, but to bugs.
No, I mean, I'm not like dumping on the rats, but I'm saying you can dust the bin with a little bit of it and be fine, and still put your rats in it and be fine. You don't want to just over like a powdered donut. You can dust it, and it's fine.
Interesting.
There's an old school method that I learned from the breeding company Nerd. They basically just soak them, but they also regulate the temperature while they soak them for extended periods. So if you do like a heat mat with a thermostat probe, you could regulate that so that they can actually stay in there longer and still thermoregulate their temperature. And that basically will help essentially just drown the mites completely off, So that's another way that you could also check, either as a treatment or as like check-in if you buy a python or a snake from a show. That's something you could do as well before you put them.
Have you ever messed with diatomaceous earth with any of your prophylactically? Have you ever used that?
I haven't. No, I'll need to look into that.
I've heard it a bunch. It helps regulate them from spreading. I've heard that. Yeah, it's a little messy when it goes down, but I've heard it is quite useful. It's not a chemical, so you don't have the risk of a neurological or some other kind of toxin, the animal having a reaction. Chuck, in fact, had an animal had a really bad. He was scared to death for like 3 or 4 days. He had an animal had a real bad reaction, as if it had drank it, and it didn't.
Oh wow!
And she had the wobbles and the tremors, and she thought the snake was going to die, and then she just pulled right out of it, and she's fine. But sometimes those pesticides can have some side effects that are, potentially worse than the mites.
Yeah.
What was the name of the solution you mentioned? Ace asked. Ivermectin. Ivermectin.
And there's still, that's one, if you're not careful with it, can cause some toxicity. And I forget the solution, I always have to watch the fake discovery video, but if you watch her thing on mice, it tells you exactly how to mix it, and it's pretty safe at that. But I wouldn't just go spraying them. You gotta, dilute it a lot first.
There's something else called fipronil.
Fipronil, yep, that's your active ingredient in like some actually dog and cat flea and tick prevention. So Frontline, I think, covers that too. There's a good spray if you can get it that works too. Fipronil spray, yeah.
Royal Bama's full of energy. Watch out, everybody.
What's going on?
She's lagging.
I'm trying to be quiet. I feel like y'all are doing busy stuff.
We're always doing busy stuff on Wednesday
I'm
night.
lagging? No.
This is our Wednesday
I know.
night.
I just
We
got
always
back
have a
from
good
that
show.
educational show.
Did you get? Hey, we were talking about mites on snakes. Did you get any
Okay,
mites?
well, I will be.
You keep breaking up.
I've had that problem. Oh, shit balls. Hold on. The
She's got that
restroom
Kyle
is not a
Hoffman
good place to
internet.
be.
She's got that McDonald's internet, like Kyle does.
Yeah.
He's got a $300,000 steakhouse. Ain't a damn bit of internet in that thing.
Lou Gardy's
Y'all leave me
mic
alone.
spray.
Damn. Life is rough around here, y'all.
Hey, that's Bama.
I'm here. Oh, you need my vape? Yeah.
I'll have to
Blake's
look that one
here.
up soon.
He's laid up in bed. He's back there though, y'all.
Oh, I was giving you trouble yesterday that Blake didn't exist. You were just making him up.
I promise I'm not making him up. Are you?
I know. I see that now. That mannequin was positioned perfectly in the bed. It was totally believable.
I know, right? Such a beautiful mannequin.
Lugardi's is good stuff. Jenna with Serpent Space. We hung out with her last night. She was a wealth of knowledge as well. She's super cool, and she says Lugardi's is a good mite spray. I know they got some pretty classy stuff, but they've got some nice products. I have not used any of it, but I have definitely shopped it.
Mites. Use no pest strips and put them in between your racks.
I've heard good things about, pest strips too. Yeah.
I've heard that with the reed snake breeders, bigger snakes, because it's so much
had it
coverage.
happen. Oh shit, my bad. There you go. Oh, we've had mites one time. And we treated it with. Yes, I know. Go to bed, baby. Okay. We treated with permethrin, I believe. I'm lost, y'all. I'm running rampant. Y'all just ignore me.
We
All
will.
right, fair enough. Jenna said she was busy with something. She was going to try to hop in a few minutes. I don't know if we're going to catch her or not. Let's see. I got some requests down here. Oh, Jen, hold on. Oh, God, I don't know what I clicked. Okay, I got Jen. I tried to invite you a while ago. She hopped out and hopped back in. There's Jen.
Hello.
Hey, how are you tonight?
Hello, Jen.
Okay. Hello.
Give us some good, hard-hitting questions for our research vet, Christa. Host a trap
I wish
talk.
I had some, honestly.
Oh, come on. You've
She
been in
nailed
this-
it tonight.
I appreciate that. If anything comes to mind, hit me up on Instagram. I'm more than likely to chat. I get a lot of questions related to everything. So I'm happy.
Neurophi Exotics. Yep.
Yep.
I love your logo, by the way. The color saturation and just I love Jen's for a similar reason. Just the simplicity and the boldness of it without being too contrasting. I love your logo. It was
Thank
cool.
you. Yeah, simplicity and the color. Obviously that turquoise color, which is kind of a unique color too. You don't see it a lot. But I had that done by Fiverr actually, $30, and they did that for me, and I was super happy with it. So if you're interested in logo stuff, pick up Fiverr. It worked for me.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
I need mine kind of dialed in one last time. So
Well worth $30 for me. So, a lot of people pay a lot of money for the logos and
Oh,
stuff.
dude, I think we paid like $100 for ours. We just recently had ours redone. I had my tattoo artist do our first logo, and then we just wanted something fresher, more pop out.
We did our first logo on Canva, and it was okay, but it was too busy in my opinion, so I hired a gal, Haley Kent, I think her name is, and I am so excited with what we got. She gave us so many different types of our logo, both like this one and with our name on it and different colors, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah, yours is killer. TJ
I
Hutchins.
just finished doing the dreads and sent one over to him. It's on his email.
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Oh, thanks, Montrose. You're kind, sir. You're kind, sir.
Figure out how I want to pick it apart.
Go ahead, pick it apart, man.
No, dude, that's a
the whole
good
thing.
start. I like what you got, what you're heading toward right there.
So,
That's
Jen,
some-
did you hear earlier they want me to do a unboxing tomorrow when I get off of work? Opened up the new green tree from Carly. She was in here earlier.
I did see that.
For that. Green
I don't typically do unboxings live. I just am so excited to get them out of the box when I first get them.
I know, that's my problem. I'm conflicted.
Yeah.
I rush too quickly. I just get them out and get them settled, and I'm not worried about grabbing my phone. Like, I'm not worried about that at all. Worried about
Right.
inspecting them.
I know. That's how I always am. I don't mess with them a lot when I first get any of my animals, and so I have to talk myself into it. I just don't know if I can leave it in the box all day. Like go to FedEx, bring it home with a perfectly functional little mini rack I made for it, and leave it in the box and go to work for the day and then come home. I don't know if I can do that, man.
Granted, I mean, I get so anxious with any shipped animals. I want to see them as soon as I get them, if possible.
Absolutely. I want to get them out and inspect them, and definitely. Then
You
by
know,
that time, you're not even thinking about, well, let's do an unboxing.
I got an
Yeah.
employee now at work. I used to just be by myself. So maybe I'll just say, screw it. I'll just go in a little half hour later. I'll do a quick live in the morning. I'll unbox it and satisfy my own needs and take care of the animal and just do one in the morning when I get back from FedEx.
Yeah, that's literally how it is for me and Blake. Like, as soon as we pick up a snake, we're like, ooh, like already there with the pocket knife.
Just make sure you tie, if it's in a bag, you tie that sucker well, because
Yeah.
Why do you tell us that?
Oh, right.
Where, pray tell, would you talk from such of an experience, dear Christa?
Yeah.
Do tell.
Yes, I picked up a snake from FedEx. I looked at the snake. I put the snake back in the shipping box, but I apparently didn't tie the bag well off. I went in, picked up some rats, came out from getting rats. Snake was gone. So in my car somewhere. I found the snake. I mean, this was like freaking January in Missouri, so it's like pretty cold. I took it to Ford, I have a Ford SUV. I took it there and I was like, hey.
So when I drive my car, I hear a little hissing sound as I go down the road.
It just happened. Oh, them pansies. Nobody wanted to look for the snake in there. Nobody wanted to do that. So I had to like take it apart myself. My boyfriend came home. We spent hours looking for it. We found it that night. Thankfully, it was pretty cold. She warmed up fine. She was under the passenger seat, like under the carpet, and was like right on top of the metal of the bottom of the car, just way back in there. Like we stuck our phones way back and briefly saw her, and that's where we knew she was at. Because I reached with my hand back there, I couldn't feel her. So yeah.
Wow.
I have a similar story, except ours got out. We got home, realized it was out. He was wrapped up in the seat of my car. We had to remove the seat of my car to get him out of there.
Wow.
Yeah. It was a good time.
Hey, now we're talking about loose reptiles, and we're going to stretch this out to amphibians and vehicles. Go ahead, Dred. Tell us your story about the frogs.
All right, so check this out. So
Oh, I gotta
my
hear
boys
this.
was little. This is funny. So my boys was little right at daycare. So back behind the daycare, it was spring, right? Everything's wet. Frog, the toads were hatching out. Well, there was a pretty good sump of water, and let's go catch some of these toads. We can put in the yard. We want more toads running around. We must have caught like 200 of these little toads
Dang.
in a bucket, right? We had a ton. I mean, the kids was having a field day out there. Just get them, we'll turn them loose all around the house. Guess what? Here he is. Well, however old he was at the time, out of probably 4. He opens that tub up looking at him, and he spills them all in the car. We had
Oh my
200
God.
little toads running all over. I mean, we was in there forever. Let me see those frogs. What do you mean? And he's just looking at the floor and he said, oh shit.
How did that smell in about 48 hours?
Actually, it wasn't too bad. We got ahead on it, but it took us a little while to get them all caught and out from under the seats, and
That's hilarious.
yeah, it was pretty
it's
funny.
not,
so.
but
Hey, Krista, did you switch your tubs in that one rack where you had a young one get out the other day? Did you get a new brand of tubs, or what direction are you going on them?
So I put them in a different rack. I ordered a new tub that I'll switch that one out with. But I think I'm just gonna keep my leopard geckos in there because they can't there's no way they can reach out at the top in the gap in that. So I think I'm just to be on the safe side, keep that rack just for leopard geckos. No balls.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I had one shoe, got back from kindling, that sucker got out the next day. I was like, how in the world? There's a little gap from the top of the tub to the top, and he managed to go his way out. I found him, I sent pictures of another rack curled up on the heat, the rack right beside it, thankfully.
That's great. Yeah, when they don't go far, that's a victory right there.
It was a puzzle head hypo male, and I was like, I need to find this sucker.
Oh yeah, I'd be wanting to look for that one real quick.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And
Once in a while, I have a baby snake or something get out in here in the reptile room, and I don't even worry about it anymore. Right? I just close the door. It's closed every night. I'll find it whenever I find it because it's somewhere in here.
Yeah.
And it is what it is, because it's usually my fault not closing the drawer or whatever. It's on me, and I'll find them when I find them. I found them all. I haven't had one lost no more than 2 or 3 days. So
Somebody asked, have you ever lost any and never found them? Yeah, actually, yes, unfortunately. A few months ago, same thing. I had somebody local buy from me, put it in a bag, hide it. What I thought, I got to the person's place, snake is no longer in the bag. I had the snake in the bag next to me in a shipping box. I obviously didn't shut the shipping box. That sucker got out, never found it. Not in my car, not in my house, never found that thing. So,
Oh my gosh.
so I don't have the best track record with that stuff. So after
I'm gonna
that,
send you a bag of zip ties for Christmas.
yes, please do, because after that, I was so mad at myself. I was like, I thought I tied it. I don't know. I still don't know whatever happened to that thing. I looked in my car.
yeah, these are good.
Yes, I bought a bag after black zip ties, and I'll have a bag. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
When I've had Madagascar day gecko get out, and then they got delicate skin, you don't want to tear their skin grabbing them in too big of a hurry or dropping their tail, and it doesn't really grow back so well on that species. I found the trick is just kind of monitor where they are, and they'll get cold enough that they end up really easy to grab in a day or two instead of trying to stress about it because they stay up on the walls and up on the ceiling area. And especially in the fall or winter months, they'll get cold in a day or two. Man, you can just swoop them right up. They don't even run from you.
Well, like that on the same note, even on snakes or whatever. Well, they get out. What do we do? How do we find them? Look, ball pythons are going to go hide up in something, a couch, a dresser. They're going to get in some type of space.
I found
somewhere warm.
hooked onto one of the shelves in the closet.
Right, they'll do that. Right, but one thing you can do is a buddy of mine told me. I'm moving around while the camera's off. He baby powdered his house to look for slithered. Right, you can see them. He baby powdered everywhere.
Oh shit! That's
and then he put out a couple of
Ghost hunters.
he had some heat pads with some extra hides he put out in a few places, and he's actually found them that way.
That's smart.
So that's something else you can do. Baby powder everywhere. But if you got pets, then be careful other pets. But that is a way.
A good tip. God, where did I hear this? I think it was someone on YouTube. But I had one. My banana Mojave got out, and I got her within half a day. But I think she had a day or something head start on me though, because I'd fed her and figured she's just gonna hide. I'm just gonna leave her alone. So she had like a day and a half head start on me before I noticed she was MIA. And of course, it was I was making do in a stupid glass front opening Exoterra, which the leopard gecko's in and is wonderful for. But for a ball python, it was not great. And it was the only one I got it for marketplace. It was super cheap. And so I had used it in a pinch and she got out. And then I started looking at YouTube videos and they said ball pythons, they stay low. And then 90% of the time, unless it's been months, they stay in the same room. They hit a corner and they just turn the corner and go around the perimeter of the room. They're always up, like you guys are saying, always up underneath something hiding. They don't really go upward a whole lot. They don't really go down the hallway. Other species are different, but I heard ball pythons are generally in the same room we lost them in for the most part.
Yeah, we had one rolling down the hallway one night, a baby. I must not have had the door closed, and my cat, row, row, row. My boy sees it. He comes in there like 3 a.m. Hey, Dad, one of your baby snakes is out. So the cat was right looking at it, but it's cool. He got it. So I keep that door shut in that room at night.
Mine's wide open. It's the front
Just in
room
case
is-
old Dread forgets to close one up right.
Yeah, I have to keep mine closed.
I mean, I keep mine closed to maintain the ambient, but that's the only reason why.
Kitty, I have an orange kitty too.
Oh, you do? Well, this is Fanta.
This
Like
is
orange
me.
I love it, Fanta. I love it.
it. Oh my
Welcome,
god.
Jenna, welcome to Cat Fancy. This is the #1 place to catch everything cat related you want to know about.
That's right.
The naughty
That's us,
business has
cats.
gone feline.
This
Welcome.
is my pushy cat.
Oh, they're so pretty.
Hello.
We got the fuzzy ones in the house.
Come on, go get the
Does
pit
it count? Does
I will
a
go get
does
the
a
pit bull.
snake that's more like a dog count?
See, this is my dog. She was literally on the counter eating leftover pizza. Just like literally 2 minutes ago. I'm on live. You gotta go, baby. You need to go to bed. You got school in the morning. I love you.
I thought you were talking to the cat. I'm like, wow. What kind of educated feline do you have? Oh, look at that doggy.
She goes to Harvard. Y'all don't judge her. She's smart.
Roll Tide. Let's go to Tuscaloosa. You got a long bus ride in the morning,
Hell
cat.
yeah, let's go.
Roll
Roll
Tide.
Tide!
Hell yeah.
Roll
Roll
Tide.
Tide!
Y'all gonna
I was
get me
mocking the cat's education. I'm not a fan of the elephants. Just leave this.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth. Roll Tide.
It's okay. I'll still love you. I'll still love you. But from afar.
I'll respect them like I respect the Yankees or Dave Matthews, but I don't like them.
Hey, look,
Oh,
look.
hey,
don't
I mean,
like it
go-
when
go
the
Yankees.
Come down here, bro. Oh my God, they can't drive worth a.
I'm also a Yankees fan, so you're really insulting me there, Phil.
As much as I love you, Jay, I'm sorry.
Let's go.
All right, Christa, well, have you had enough of our shenanigans for the night? We've kept you away from your life of the big YouTube superstar, Christa, DVM.
Oh my gosh. Oh my God, you're famous.
No, I'm not.
She's so awesome.
Every
She's
Sunday
awesome.
night on YouTube, the girls who love reptiles, Crap Talk.
I have to get on
She-
there.
She's just more famous than Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett.
What's up, Rich? NWA rolling through. You see Amanda? Amanda runs the PJ's Creations page on here.
Oh, I see
You
her.
always
Yeah,
see Eric.
they bought a leopard gecko from me. A real pretty baby. So I appreciate that from them. But yeah, hopefully she's doing well. They sent me some pictures. Looks great. I shipped out one tonight to a repeat customer, so that's always fun when they come back. and
Oh,
another
yeah,
one.
that's always great. Yep.
Rich is my dude. She's in shed right now. She's gotten big, huh? All right.
Down big. Yeah, they grow fast and they
That
stay,
hits the spot.
they stay pretty orange.
Welcome. I'm so glad. So we've had so many people roll through tonight. So many people from the V unit, and like a lot of people have popped in tonight. I'm happy to see that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Noodles, you're the man. Rich, thank you so much, good sir. So kind of you.
It was a lot of fun. Hopefully, you guys learned something and got to see some cool animals. And I'm excited where things are heading. So,
Absolutely. That's what we're
I
all
wanna
about.
tell you one-
Education that's fun and approachable. I mean, that's what this show's about. We try not to be, real staunch, and we try to make it a fun, interactive, goofy format. And I think we hit the nail on the head, especially early on in the show. People were giving us all kinds of crazy cowboy hats, and it was a good time. So I hope you had fun as well.
oh, we had a lot of fun. Yeah, I had a lot of fun. My cheeks are actually sore from smiling so much. That's a good sign.
There it is. There's the clip. That's the highlight. Send it. All right. Thank you, Christa, so much for your time. I love you and appreciate all the education. And thanks for sharing it with us tonight.
No
Krista, you're the
problem, guys.
best.
Thank you.
You're the
so much.
best.
Reach out if you have any other questions, okay?
Neurofy Exotics. That's NE, not NU. Instagram. Catch
You
us
come
Sunday
hang,
nights
you come
in the
hang out at the
comments.
campfire anytime.
Awesome.
Yeah, if you ever want to hang out, come on through. Sometimes we just do hangouts sometimes, and it'll be 20 to 50 people, or sometimes it'll be 5. Either way, it's always a great time. So come on through anytime you like that you're on.
Sure. Sounds great. I'd love to.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
No
Appreciate you.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Good night.
Night.
Bye.
Good night.
Well, how are you guys? I invited Rich up in a box because Rich is good television. I don't know if anybody knows Rich, but if you don't follow Noodles with Attitude, his lives are popping. I mean, they're different than this, but he is so fun. He has such a big following.
I do follow him. Yep.
He's cool. He's good. I met him in Dallas. I like him.
He said he's